Well, the limited treasure chest and the gear up chest, people constantly asking, is this a good time to pull on it? So today I'm gonna give you my take on it, what I'm going for, and how I think it's gonna affect me in the long run. Now, a majority of you are probably sitting on a couple S-grade weapons and there's one that you really like and you just say to yourself, hey, I'm gonna wait till I see this, go for that, and I'll eventually get it up to legendary, which is perfectly fine. You have a weapon you like, you're gonna get it upgraded, and you'll probably advance a good amount of ways. But given with all the S-grade weapons inside the game and the chances of getting them, this could be a little bit more difficult than what you would expect it to be. Now, I'm a believer that all S-grade weapons are good. Yeah, some might be a touch bit better than the other, but the big thing to focus on is going to be those mythic stats, because ultimately that's the end goal of where we're trying to get to these things. And as much as I like the Whisper inside the game, I'm really not going out of my way to pull it out of these limited chests. But given that weapons and armor have a 0.2% chance of pulling them, where the rings and accessory are 0.4, likely your odds are going to be leaning towards either those rings or the accessories, hence why I have so many shadow rings. Now, as much as I love the Reckoning badge, I think when it comes to the end game, we're probably in a better situation to get the Proof of Glory and even the Bloody Grail. The fact that it's going to have that damage reduction is going to mean that we don't have to focus so much on the pets having them, opening up a slot for them. And with all the different selections we have in pet builds, this really opens up the opportunity to build for whatever weapon or situation you're in. So given that the armor and the weapons are the hardest ones to get, it would pretty much make the most sense to go for either one of these two gear up chances. But if you wanted to narrow this down even more, this one has the Revival Cloak and the Shadow Ring. And where I was a big fan of the Revival Cloak when I first started out, when it comes down to it, the Dragon Breath armor is just so much more important inside the game. And I think it's so important that you should actually be using your gear ups to go and try to pull this thing out of this cycle right here, and also selecting it from the limited chest. Now, as far as my reasoning behind this, the big one is as you get further into the game, you start realizing how important it is to have health and also a healing aspect. But in my opinion, health is a very important part of the game, and really the only time we actually see it is that super life if you get lucky after beating a boss. Other than that, you might just kind of go and grab some and lose some along the way as you pass through days, but it's getting tough to find this stuff as you get later in the game. And where a mythic S grade would be nice, I've got this Nomad bow and it's absolutely wrecking inside the game. Plus, there's a million different ways to increase your attack. Obviously, there's War Veteran, there's the Combo Mastery, which is also going to give increased damage every time you combo. Not to mention, you could also get the Crit one, which is going to increase your crit damage. And even as far as pulling these S-grade rings in here, the Guardian rings are still incredibly viable with giving that shield and tossing out daggers, so it's not a huge priority for those. That's just one of those things, as I get rings, I'm like, oh cool, I got this, can I upgrade it? And if I can, maybe I'll use it. So this is just my take on it. I really do believe that the Dragon Breath is probably the best situation to go for. And if you don't want to go and pull from the Whisperer one and chance getting it out of there, that's fine too. But on the other hand, if you want to go and just chase after weapons and pull those, there's nothing wrong with it at all. There's no wrong way to play the game. I just find from my experience of finally getting to chapter 81 here that I'm really struggling on the health. And if I had it more along the way, I feel like I would have been able to breeze through these things a lot faster. And that's also the fact that it's a lot easier to get a mythic Nomad bow than trying to get one of these S-grade ones. So really curious to know which one you guys are going after, and if you want to find out what happens when you reach a new world, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.